Our Digipreneur joins us, my friends. Have no fear. The Digipreneur is here, Keron Rose. We say welcome. Again, happy Carnival, Keron. Great to see you, and I'm happy that we're keeping the conversation in the vein of the music, and I would say Carnival and beyond, because music is not just seasonal, it's not just for Carnival. This is obviously great advice for all artists and all creatives. Welcome, my friend. Great to see you.
As always, thank you for having me. And yes, the conversation that we're going to have today about how music artists can create new revenue streams for themselves in the digital space, I think is a perfectly timed conversation.
That's right. So digital revenue streams. We're looking here at all the major music platforms, or what Spotify, the Apple Music. Just walk us through what's out there and where the soil is fertile at this point in time.
So I'm actually going to leave the streaming platforms alone because I think it's the most known platforms that are out there. I want to shed some light on some other ways that people could earn revenue digitally that they're not utilizing. I haven't seen any artists doing any of this stuff that they could start to implement. And I mean, as we're in the middle of the season, this would have been a great time for them to start to put some of these things into action. But you know what? The knowledge is going to be coming up. So one of the main ones, and I think you could agree, this is something that more artists could tap into, is live studio sessions that are paid, right? So think of your favorite artist. One of my favorite Soca artists is Skinny Fabulous, right? I would pay money to watch Skinny in session recording his songs. I would pay money to watch him do acoustic versions, figuring it out. Take me through that journey, and I would pay money. And when you're recording these, when you're live streaming these behind the scenes sessions, they don't have to be a large sum of money. If you're charging your followers maybe a $5 US, maybe a $10 US, now you're thinking about volume, because all of our streaming platforms that we have, from YouTube, because you could do a YouTube stream, Zoom, there's a multitude of streaming platforms you could use to get the content out there, and then have a paywall so people pay to get in, and you could earn some decent revenue in doing that.
Keron, what prevents someone in a scenario like that from sharing the link?
Paywall. So if it will not be an open room, it'll be a closed room. So there is no link to share. You're going to have to pay in order to be admitted into the platform.
Oh.
So there's platforms like an Eventbrite, there's platforms like a Hublio. There's a number of platforms that allow you to create a digitally closed room. So it's not an open platform where you could just share a link and you get access. No, you'd have to pay to be able to get inside.
Okay, interesting. And you could do it literally anywhere, any studio, any part of the world.
Yeah, all you need is the video equipment. So once you have the video equipment to stream, once you have the video equipment and you have the platform, just for, symbolizing the formula, think Zoom, right? You can't just break into a Zoom room. You actually have to, if there's a paywall, you're going to have to pay to be admitted into the platform. So any of the platforms that allow you to have a paywall and a closed room, an artist could now live stream these recording sessions and have people pay to join them. And I think, again, those would be great ways to make some additional revenue.
It's almost like an OnlyFans, but for music.
Essentially, yeah. It's almost like but this would be live streamed. And again, artists, you guys are sleeping on that because people want to watch all of your process, which brings me to another way that you guys can start to create revenue. So JW, as we were talking about before we came on air, I just went and picked up what's called the DJI Pocket Osmo 3. And it's essentially a mini 4K in your pocket recording camera that easily allows you to vlog and also to create content for social media. So if you are an artist, right now, this is your time. This is your season. You guys are doing the most amount of things behind the scenes that we do not know. This would be a great time to don't just have a camera crew follow you around, because not every artist could afford that. Invest in one of these types of devices and be able to just whip this out and start to vlog. And that's going to be content which now goes over to your YouTube channel, which, as we know, is the only platform in the Caribbean that we can directly monetize from our views.
But with YouTube, walk us through the mechanics on the back end. I think you need to get to a certain amount of followers, and then when you get to, is it $100, then they're able to pay you? Walk us through just the mechanics.
So the mechanics is, so you definitely have to be eligible. So eligibility is you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers, which most artists are going to have, and you have to have at least 3,000 watch hours within the last 365 days in order to monetize. Then you would sign up for Google AdSense, and that is going to be the mechanism that is going to pay you out, all right? So if you're creating that content, you're eligible, you're signing up for Google AdSense, you could do direct deposits to your bank account. Google pays out on the 21st of every month, or they can cut you a check. Once you hit that $100 minimum USD threshold, they could send you out that check or do that direct deposit once the requirements are met.
What else is a great way to, as you rightfully put it, monetize, to bring revenue via your digital presence?
So I know time is short, so I'm going to give you guys two more options, right? I'll be quick about it. So one, we know that merch for artists is going to be a big deal. The problem with merch, especially if you're in Trinidad, is we don't have any local print-on-demand suppliers, which means artists are always going to have to buy their materials, then get it printed, then the logistics of getting it out there. But again, if you're an artist, you're going to have a global base. You could use print-on-demand services like Spring or Printful, and all you need to do is create your designs, then set up your shop in Spring or Printful, and anytime somebody, and you set your own markup, by the way, as well. You can create any merch you want, you set your own markup. When someone purchases the product, that print-on-demand platform is going to handle the logistics and send your products and your goods out to anywhere in the world, and the payouts, they're gonna pay you out through PayPal or Payoneer as a platform. So again, you don't have to worry about payments. You don't have to worry about the logistics of getting it out. Have everybody go and buy the merch on your Printful or Spring platform.
Interesting. And there's one more you said before we wrap things up this morning?
Yeah, so the last one is Patreon. Patreon is an amazing way to have subscribers. If you're going to be creating all this content, you're going to have people who want to subscribe for exclusive content. What you could also do in Patreon is you can create a tiered system for your subscribers. So let's just say the bottom tier, maybe the bottom tier is like $1 a month, and they get access to exclusive content, maybe behind the scenes content, early releases of your music. Again, your fans are always looking at ways to support you. The next tier that you could do might be a higher tier where now you can create personalized merch, personalized greetings or songs to include your audience, just to build that fan engagement. And maybe you do for the highest tier. The highest tier could be one-on-one calls, one-on-one conversations. Maybe you have people who are aspiring artists themselves and they want to be able to have those one-on-one conversations with you. They want to have mentorship or training sessions. That could be reserved for pretty much the highest tier. So you now have multiple ways of different digital revenue streams to generate income outside of the gigs and everything else you're doing.
Wow, Keron. I mean, you're telling me stuff. I'm in the business and didn't even know about that last one, and many. Keron, I'll have to take a pause. My mind is blown this morning. I need to take a pause to really soak in all what you just mentioned. So yeah, we're going on, partner. You have a good one. Let me just take a pause and just gather myself this morning, and we could probably continue next week because goodness me,
sure.
Great information. Thank you so much.
No problem. See you next week.
Wow. Keron Rose, always on top of what's happening in the digital space. I'm hearing about some of this for the very first time. Amazing. And we'll continue, as we mentioned, God spare, next week with more from our Digipreneur. Up next, conversations on cancer. Dr. LeBlanc joins me live on set. Stand by.